with you people, you actually didn't create the problem. Because in many respects, the problem began where? In the Department of Finance. People like Mark Carney, who somehow think it's okay to concoct these little schemes, thinking they can get away with it, and so far they've been right. And so, you know, there was a time when you could actually believe things from government, but that day is long since passed. You know, the Department of Finance is not exactly the virtuous entity that people would like to think it is. Otherwise, we wouldn't have people like, his name escapes me, being charged for insider trading. I mean, you know, what's the guy's name? Serge Nadeau. I mean, he's the guy who created the whole leak. I mean, here this guy was buying trust in advance of a government announcement for which he was charged with insider trading. So, I mean, you know, one shouldn't assume that these people are virtuous souls. They're anything but. I mean, and so Mark Carney gets in there. He tells these lies. And, you know, I say this only because, you know, NDP party, you've been lied to along with everyone else. And so you have a decision you can reach here right now, is to continue to allow the lie that was told to you on which you based your actions to proceed. Or you can out that person who lied to you and become the virtuous politician that you have the potential to become at this point in time, and out that person and resolve this issue in a manner that's favorable for all. And the only reason you would have for not doing that, and I guess I should direct these comments now to Jack Layton and to the new finance critic, Thomas Mulcair, who's also the deputy leader of the NDP and no dummy by any means. You know, if you don't do what I'm asking, I mean, you can't be professing to be worried about democracy and you're all worried about prorogation when you are passing legislation based on blacked out documents. And the only reason at this point in time you wouldn't do what I'm calling upon you to do, which is to demand proof of tax leakage on which you based your actions, is either you're doing this for somebody else's best interest. I don't know, who is it, pension funds, foreign private equity, maybe you're in cahoots with the Korean National Oil Company, I don't know, that's for you to explain. But as one possible broad explanation for why you would stand pat and do nothing, that's one. And the other is, you seem to have some problem with admitting to mistake. But again, this is a pretty easy mistake to make, because I don't think too many Canadians, myself included, are going to blame you for having based your actions on something that was represented to you by people like Mark Carney, Kevin Lynch, clerk of the Privy Council, whoever that guy is who's the Deputy Minister of Finance. These people all held out to you that this tax leakage thing was for real. And yeah, I think you'd want to, in the perfect world, believe them, and you did. But did you ever get proof? No, you didn't. I mean, you have as much proof as I've got, except for you take it for granted, whereas I don't. You seem to have a willingness to accept blacked out documents. I don't. I don't think you've read this study by HLB. I don't think you really even know the difference between accrual accounting and cost basis accounting. But I'm not here to insult you. I'm just here to challenge you, because I think you are that better person and that better party that will find out whether you're prepared to you know, put some pressure on Stephen Harper to reveal the truth about tax leakage. And in the same fashion, I mean, you're pursuing the truth on Afghan detainees. I mean, these are completely separate and distinct issues in one respect, but they're identical in another. And that is whether we have a properly functioning democracy. And if one can go down, that's an atrocity. If the other can go down, equally that's an atrocity. And if both go down, then we have a real problem on our hands. And so, you know, one situation is much a test case for whether we have a true democracy as is the other. And the whole purpose of pursuing these things is to avoid the repetition of these things in the future. I mean, why are we going after this Afghan detainee torture thing? Because people are being tortured today? I don't think so. It's because people were tortured in the past. And we want to have a system of government that those kinds of things don't get hidden. Likewise, we shouldn't have things like the lie about leakage allowed to persist, and to have people advance in their careers like Mark Carney. Pat in the back, job well done, Mark. You pulled off that stunt. How about we promote you to Governor of the Bank of Canada, even though you weren't the person the board selected. I'm the finance minister. I owe you a favor. There you go. 7-year appointment for you. I mean, you know, this is how this democracy gets torn apart, and people like me and thousands and if not millions of Canadians across the country lose faith not only in you, but in the democracy at large. And so therefore I call upon the better NDP, I call upon the better Jack Layton, I call upon the better Thomas Mulcair, I even call upon the better Judy Wasylycias-Leis. You people are completely absolved of any responsibility for this outcome if at this point in time you actually take action with the knowledge of what I've just told you, to call upon Stephen Harper to prove once and for all whether income trusts cause tax leakage. Because only when we know the answer to that will we know whether the actions of the government are appropriate. Notice I'm not asking for you to repeal the policy necessarily, or carve out energy, or make it a 10-year transition, or give me a break. I just want the truth, because I'm confident in the knowledge that once the truth is known, then there is only one policy designed to fit it, and that'll be the right policy. And the right policy might be just carry on as is, or the right policy may be terminate the tax. But until all Canadians know what I currently know, which is that there is no tax leakage, then you know, who am I to say that what the right policy is or the wrong policy? Everyone needs to have that factual piece of information, and collectively we have to decide what the right course of action is. But at this juncture, you need to do what you're paid to do, you need to do what you're elected to do, and you need to do what democracy demands of you, and that is to get the truth about tax leakage and stop sweeping this issue under the rug. Thank you very much. I'm sure you'll do the right thing.